Good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Boyan Petreski. Today is October 4th, 2022. We'll be doing we will not be doing the 3D market commentary. I do apologize for that. We will be doing the futures live trading session today. We'll be getting started in just a few seconds. Let me just load up the slides the proper way. Just 1 second, I'll be right with you. Okay, we should be good to go. We'll be perfect. All right, so this is what it would look like if it was loaded up properly. Sorry about that. So this is the futures trading live session for today. The disclaimer is running there for your use and your understanding that this is for educational and instructional purposes only. As I mentioned, today is October 4th, 2022. We'll be looking at the current market environment. We'll be looking to execute on new opportunities, and we're going to be managing said opportunities. So without much further else to discuss here, let's go ahead and get started with the session for today. Let me just move this here so I can take a look at the chat properly, and everything is loaded nicely. Of course, the ticker down below that you are seeing, that's for our book that was published from the Mystery to Mastery series that has been published. This is our FOREX book. Definitely check that out and let us know what you think. It's been designated as the #1 release in 3 categories. So I think it's definitely worth a look. So let's go ahead and get started with the session for today. All right, so this is what the trade setups, this is what our trade deck, our trade monitor is going to be looking like. Essentially, in the near future, this is what we're working with NinjaTrader. And in my opinion, NinjaTrader is a much more reactive, a much more responsive platform that compared to TradeStation. So if you're still kind of hesitant on it, definitely give it a look, give it a try. Believe me when I tell you, you will be positively surprised when it comes to it. All right. So looking at our setup here, a couple of different things that I just want to keep going over until we kind of drive them home and everybody's on the same page when it comes to them. The main portion that you see here is should be looking fairly similar to what you're used to when we're trading these sessions live. My only the only thing that we've color coded a little bit better is the fact that the stuff in the gray that you see here, you see this gray window here and this one up here, is actually connected to the auto climate itself. So these 2 windows correspond to the auto climate. Of course, the 2-minute 1597 tick and 2584 volume bars are still there. Same as the ones down below, the confirmation ones, 377610. So those are still there as well. And of course, our matrix, or the depth of market as it's commonly referred to, the rest of the markets. All right, so oops, there we go. Just want to make sure we're all set here as well. Perfect. Because sometimes the chat feature on one of the platforms is not as easy to handle. So there we go. Just had to go in there. Perfect. Alrighty, so what's the first thing that we're going to look at? Well, right now we do already have the ES loaded. In the meantime, we also have a window that I want to share with you what it looks like, which is basically the following here. Let me just find it real quick, which is our market analyzer. Now, obviously, a portion of it is being covered by my camera here, I'll try to make it a little bit smaller so it fits a little easier. But this is what it looks like. Essentially, this market analyzer is giving us, what we should be looking at as well. It has the auto climate, the last price, how far this climate has been propagating, and of course, is it looking up or down, or is it about to change? That's what some of these arrows here represent. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little better right there. Okay, so as you see, it's giving us the count on the climate. It's giving us what it's at. Is it 1 out of 7 or 6 out of 4, right? If it's hopeful or if we're early. I'm just going to, there we go, increase this a little bit so it's a little easier to understand. All right, and of course, are we looking for an upward move? Do we expect an up climate, or is it going to be changing as we see here on all three of the indexes here and QESYM? We have negative 0.25, negative 0.01, and negative 46. That means there might be a change in the climate coming. That's what this symbol means. And then, of course, the ATR difference is what's being really displayed here. When we have a negative ATR, that means that it's trading above the moving average if for a down climate, or below the moving average if we have an up climate. So given the fact that we may have a change in climate, I'm going to go ahead and wait for another 8 minutes just to see if we have this change in climate on the rest of these instruments. And actually the NQ, yeah, we're seeing it has a confirmed climate, but it's already trading below the moving average. So we're going to skip on it right now. And we're going to see that the Dow is also in a similar scenario, except the climate is not confirmed. So let's go ahead and take a look at crude oil. Okay. So crude oil looks like we have a confirmed climate. However, this is the 6th candle up out of typically 4. And on top of that, the something that we have brand new that we were able to introduce with NinjaTrader is the fact that we have a 2 standard deviation count, which I will go over in just a second here. I just want to make sure that everything's working okay on this other window here. Looks like it is. Okay, perfect. So something that is very interesting and sometimes really fun to see when a brand new feature is introduced is right here below. I'm just going to focus on this screen a little bit. As you see, it says currently we're at 1.86. That's the count for the max distance, right? Now it says that the max distance 2 standard deviations up is 1.74. All right, 1.74. So that means by definition that we're currently above 2 standard deviation, what this market typically extends for. So as you see, this number 1.86 is blue. This 2 standard deviation is the blue one, 1.74. So that means that 2 times the standard deviation of this number is where this market is at. So that means it's definitely overextended. We may be looking for a pullback eventually. Right now, again, it's still in an extended climate, so we're going to go ahead and skip on it. All right, looking like gold may give us something a little bit more sensible. As we see here, is at 5 out of 7 15-minute candle increments. Gold currently a little bit away, about 3 points away from its moving average. Let's go ahead and get that all loaded up here. Okay, so as we see right now, the moving average at 17.4. Price is at 17.20, and given the fact that we have such a nice visual representation of where this moving average is on this 50-minute time frame from 17.7, as you see, it's also represented up here, right? So it's very, very visual to see that as price is moving, the EMA is also falling down. So do we anticipate if price goes down 3 points, do we anticipate the moving average price to come down 1? I would say yes, definitely. So let's go ahead and set up this trade. So 1716.4 will be our T1. Let me just get this on the account here. 1716.4 right there. Now, you've seen me do this before. If you are a visual person, just like I am, you can enable your chart trader. With NinjaTrader, though, you do have to select the account before it clicks automatically. So get that done. And then, of course, you can go back on the chart trader and you can do it hidden. So that way it still displays. The reason why I like that so much is because you can just click on these guys and move it very easily, very quickly. And given that this cursor is, moving with price and time, I think it's very easy to work with. All right, now our target, our stop, and our T1s, in case we want to, put them on here, we certainly can. We can just throw in a horizontal line. And of course, our stop is going to be at 14.2 right there. And then our T1, which is also going to be a horizontal line. We're going to go from 16.4 minus 14.2, that's 2.2. So we're looking at 18.6 to be our T1. We already don't have anything nearby here. However, if we pull it down, do we have any UFOs that we need to be worried about? It does not appear to be the case. So as of right now, we don't have anything in front of us up here. So we're going to be trail stopping sorry about that. We will be trail stopping our T2 because we do not have an actual target to the upside. So that's for this one. In the meantime, I'm just gonna make this red so we know it's and this is what I like about these guys. And then there was an ability to get okay, there we go. So that's our stop, that's our entry, that's our T1. So let's go ahead and take a quick screenshot of this because that's what we need to be doing with all of our trades. We need to be screenshotting. Some people even like basically having a screen recorder on, especially if they're trading live and quite a bit. They might find it easier to be able to GC 15-minute setup to be able to get that information pulled whenever they are logging their trades. For example, at the end of the day, instead of being worried about, hey, let me take a screenshot, maybe what you want to do is screen record the whole time, so that way after the day is over, you go back to your trading and you say, you know what, let me see what I did, and then take screenshots from the recording so I can monitor and then take a look. All right, so as of right now, we do have a bit of a slower market than what we did last time when we started trading. Of course, that's nothing unusual. So as of right now, though, we're going to have an update to the climates in about, right now, actually, just updated. So as we see, the moving average did end up moving to the 1718 area. And we do have UFOs here from 17 to 16.8. This one starts at 16.4. So we are actually going to go ahead and move our, let me just enable chart trader here as well. And then hide it on all of these. Because it's always easier just to have that done and then save the workspace. So the moving average is really most likely going to meet up with this 18.7 area here rather than that one up there. So we're going to go ahead and move our stop to 6.7, which is right above this UFO here. So unfortunately, we set up the trade, we took a screenshot of it, but things change, and that's okay. 18.7, 18.7 minus 16.7, so that's exactly 2 points. So we are risking a little bit less. Okay, so that means that our T1 needs to be moved up to 20.7 right here. Okay, and now I'm just gonna override my screenshot because this is now the new setup based on the updated climate. We need to be as fluid as the markets. Otherwise, if we get into the feeling that, hey, we already set this up, why am I changing it now? Well, because the market changed and you need to adapt with it. Now, something that needs to be also kept in mind, down here we see that currently the market is at 1.22 max distance calculation. If we get to 1.25, we're not going to take this trade because this trade would have moved way past the typical amount that it moves up for. Therefore, we're going to be skipping on it because the probability of that trade working will be reduced. So do keep in mind on these numbers down below. They are very important. It's also going to align with the fact that we're currently on the sixth 15-minute up climate out of 7. So if in the next 15 minutes we don't get a trade on this, we're going to be canceling this trade. Okay. So in the meantime, though, let's take a look at the rest of the markets that we had on our list. NQ is still giving a unconfirmed situation here. Let's take a look at the ES. The ES is in fact in a down climate right now, currently trading right at the moving average. Let's see if we have anything on here, though. It does not look like we do. That's still loading. Let's give it a second to load. So currently, the moving average we see is right at current price, really. Interestingly, it's taking a little bit longer for me, and I'm already. This may be something that's on my computer, so I've already emailed Ninja Trader support to kind of give me a hand here, see what's going on. Why is it that my windows are loading so slow? But that's something that I'm waiting for them to respond. All right. Well, that's definitely taking longer than typical, and the price is already trading through the moving average here. So there's a good chance that we may not have a trade on any one of those different charts. However, we will be looking to see if there's something that will set up. Perhaps if price starts falling down again. Okay, yeah, this is definitely hung up a little bit. I'm not sure why. Just gonna try to reload it and see if that helps it. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. We're gonna have to move on. In the meantime, the other charts seem to be working just fine. Not quite sure why this one is not, but we're gonna get the kinks out eventually. As I said, this may just be my computer. You may be fine on your end. As I'm seeing, this is a little strange for me, so to see it like this. But let's see if finally loaded. Okay. All right. Looks like there's a couple of UFOs right where current price is, except they're the wrong color. So let's see if price starts moving to the downside, we could also get a trade on here. If we do get a trade because the current price is in fact inside of a UFO, we're going to go ahead and skip on this one. So our target will be way down here at the 37.24s. If we do get a UFO to form here, we can essentially execute at market, which the way you do that, you just click this market button here and it's already going to execute. Just make sure you have at least something set here. For example, I have a 2 contract, T1 and T2 set up. And then if you click this little market icon here, it takes you in at market on the short side, on the sell side. And of course, this button here takes you on the buy side. Just trying to see if we can get some sort of a movement here on the ES to the side of the climate. If not, we're going to go ahead and look at the other ones here. It seems to be, dancing right around the moving average, which is always great news, because if there was a UFO there that was already, filled and we don't see it anymore, that means that, if we were just a little bit early to this trade and we got a fill on it, we would be in it, and we would like to see a bit of a pause or a hold right at the moving average. So the reason why I'm not switching off of it just yet is because I am anticipating some sort of movement in this area. For example, I'd like to see these 2 UFOs filled and a new, red UFO showing up on any one of these charts, or perhaps even on the 2-minute when it closes. And I'm, highly anticipating that, just because the market will open in about 8 minutes or so. All right. In the meantime, though, are there any questions, any comments, any concerns, anything that I can do to kind of help and clarify for the folks that might not be used to NinjaTrader? This may be a little bit daunting, but as with all things in life, the more practice you put into something, the better you become at it. And that's going to be the same with new platforms, new enhancements to any methodologies you may be trading already. Okay, so there we go. We're seeing the price movement we were expecting. Now just a matter of being a little bit patient and seeing if we can get a red UFO to form on any one of the 3 charts here. If we really wanted to be aggressive and just give ourselves permission to be aggressive, we do in fact have 2 UFOs down here on the aggressive, the smaller charts. As you see, this is the 89 tick, this is the 144 volume. So we do already have that, and this would be the time to get in. And as you see, that's already filled, because it lines up with the moving average. But I typically use these as kind of additional information that, hey, even on the smaller time frames, we are seeing some information that we want to have in front of us. So as of right now, though, a whole bunch of just sideways action right at that moving average. Let's take a look at the Dow just in case we're having a bit of a different type of scenario. Let's go to the YM here. And you saw how quickly that loaded, right? It was fairly instant, I would say. That's what I was expecting for that to happen with the ES, but for some reason it stumbled on something. All right, very similar scenario here, 29,918. That big round 30,000 number is kind of lingering over us right there at this UFO here and here and above here. Confirmed down climate. First one out of typically 5. plenty of time and space to get this to work. There's a very good chance that this UFO up here will disappear now as we're testing, deeper and deeper into it. No new UFOs though, right at the moving average area there. Exercising some patience, never a bad thing for an intraday trader. Being too eager and making mistakes, as you've seen me do on these live sessions with you, is part of the job. It's just they do happen, and that's okay. There we go. We do have a setup here. It's not as optimal as I would love it, but of course, a trade is a trade here. We're gonna go in at 897 right there, not 4. Did I double click it accidentally? Oh no, I'm sorry. No, that's just, never mind. Two, two contracts is what it is. That's just a count of the supposed count of contracts at that price point. Of course, our stop is going to be right here at 919 at 920 is our stop. Okay, so that's going to be red. And our T1 needs to be at 897 minus 920, looking at 23 pips. T1 needs to be at 874, right there. Just gonna take a quick screenshot of this trade before it fills. 2022, panel 4, we got YM 15-minute setup. All right, we are filled. Let's go ahead and adjust our stops to what we said, 920 right there. T1 needs to be at, what do we say? T1 is at 74. 74 right there. Okay, and our final target is going to be way down there at 29,766. So that's going to be 766 right here is our T1. All right, and I'm gonna since now this trade has filled, I'm gonna take another screenshot of it. 2022, 1004 YM 15-minute fill. All right, price ended up running up to our stop. Well, not to it, but running up, and we're going to see how this plays out. I like being in a trade right before the market opened. The thing is, I like to have a T1 before the market opened. That's not going to be the case right now. And now we have the market open coming up in just a few seconds here, about 20 seconds. So we're going to see if this will, wiggle itself down to our T1, and then we can start adjusting our stop, or if it's just going to run straight to the stop. Either scenario is possible. Straight to the stop it is. Let's go ahead and take a screenshot of this. And this is 2022 1004 YM 15-minute exit, full stop, negative 230. All right, climate is still confirmed. I will not be afraid to execute at market with a sell order if I see a new UFO pop up on any one of the charts. Finger on the trigger here. Currently trading above the moving average. Okay, quite a bit of it above the moving average. Okay, this chart seems to be a little frozen, or is it? Oh no, that's why. I had it scrolled back. So price is in the 60s, but the depth of market seems to be acting up again. So it's never a good sign to the start of a session. It may be that there's an influx of orders, and that's why it's just getting reconfirmed. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I want to see what happened with gold in the meantime, because we did have a setup there as well. Oh, wow. Didn't even get a chance to take a look at it. Jeez, that was quick. Um, okay, the climate is unconfirmed, and by the time I switched to it, it looks like it was in and out. If you did take this trade, you might have gotten out for less, but if you went to it when I did, then you got a full stop up, because as we see, we have the red line there being, let me just take this here like that. Yeah, didn't even hear it fill. So 2022, 1004, GC, 50-minute exit, full stop. I think it was 2 points. So we're talking negative 400 there on that trade. Okay. One way to be able to actually execute the way you want to on a particular trade, you could always edit this and you can just put in what you want this to be as. It's just that you would have to save it as a template to be able to get proper, setup on how far you want T1 and T2 to be. Or perhaps just the T1 and the stop, so that way, if a price starts moving really fast, you don't miss out on it. Okay. All right. So the ES looks like it's a confirmed up climate already. We have a massive move upwards. Not unsurprising there. NQ is in the similar boat. Massive move up. All right. And crude is still overextended, but let's spend some time here on the Nasdaq. As you see, it's going through a red UFO up there, so nothing unsuspecting there. This is a massive overextended move. As you see, it's currently at 1.44 out of 1.12. So if this keeps going, right, this will be an unsustainable too far too fast rule being activated. Let's get the NQ properly loaded here. Currently, moving average being at 11,518. That's currently within a UFO right now. It's at the bottom of it though, so in my opinion, if price were to keep dropping down, this may catch the tail end of it. A better, long in this scenario would be the UFO down here at 11,513. So let's go ahead and put that on. 11,513. Okay. And that's, as you see, in multiple UFOs across the board here. Now our stop would need to be at 513 minus 499.75. That's 13.25 points. And we can actually do that here. We can just do a custom add. So we'll do an order quantity too. The stop loss in ticks will be 53 ticks. 53 ticks. Profit for T1 will be 53. And currently that we're already going through this UFO, I'm just gonna set this at, just double that, and hit that OK, and then that should be fine. Just to reconfirm, I'm gonna just go ahead and execute it again at 513. 513. You could also just do it right here with right click, buy limit 513. I just prefer to do it on the DOM. So 513 right there. And now this custom strategy that we put in there is going to be the one that's going to be in effect, where we will get the proper fill. And now we won't, even if price moves, incredibly fast, we do have the proper parameters set for the trade. So, which is, having it down here, the stop being at 99.5. And our T1 is going to be at, we have, so 13.25 plus 513, we're looking at 26.25, 26.25 right here. Oops, that wasn't selected. Right there. So that's our T1. T2 is going to be, somewhere above. Let's see if we do have any UFOs above, though. I don't believe I saw any, except for this one, obviously, where price is currently going through. So given that it's currently in it, we're going to skip it. But if there is something else, even if it was a filled UFO above, we should still be okay with trading that. Let's go ahead and take this screenshot here. So 2022, 10:04, we got the NQ 50-minute setup. All right. Let's see, we're going to have a climate update in about 7 minutes from now. Does not look like we are coming close to the setup, but it is there. And let's see if we have anything that's a little bit closer. So gold is currently still sitting in that area where we were stopped out. Unconfirmed climate still, but nothing unusual that we're seeing right now. Now looking at crude oil, it's also kind of away from the moving average, overextended. Currently, more than 2 standard deviations up. So quite the extended move that crude oil is having. So for right now, we do have our trade set up on the NQ. So let's go ahead and leave that on. Now, price needs to fall down, and if it does, the standard deviation that we see down here will in fact fall with it, as it's at 112, currently at 139. So it's more than the standard deviation. However, given the fact that we're expecting price to come down, that's going to also go below that 2 standard deviations, allowing us to take this trade. Again, we are a little far away from where current price is, but that's quite okay. We do have to practice a little bit of patience, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. Most importantly, though, practice does make perfect, and we need to keep practicing to make sure that we are ready when the opportunities present themselves. And in this scenario, if it does, we are ready for it. Our trade is in, and not just that, but we also have a custom ATM strategy that's already set to our T1, our stops, and a T2 that's not going to be easily hit. 103 ticks, I don't think are going to get hit that quick to the point where we can't adjust it. So we should be in a fairly good shape. All right, so just kind of double checking also on the chat for those of you joining me live. If there's any questions, any comments, if there's everything's looking okay, please let us know. For some reason, this side of the chart is acting up on my end, but that's okay. We know what we're dealing with here on the NQ. That's why we took the screenshot. It's important to have these, right? This is what we were looking at when we set up the trade, and that's what's going to be documented. Unless things change, then we're going to override that screenshot, and we're going to execute according to the new parameters, which in our scenario, those new parameters will be coming up in about 3 minutes from now. There is a fairly good chance that as the update comes, 3 minutes from now, we need to move our entry point to this 539 area, to this 539.50 area right here, which is where the UFO is. As you see right now, 539.5 with the stop of 514.25. And the moving average is currently at 520, but there's as the update comes, the moving average may, go somewhere up here, which will be fine. We just need to make sure that we execute right on it instead of just trying to be overly conservative, and then we execute, below the moving average, which that would be, that wouldn't be according to our plan. Okay. Let's see. We got basically 2.5 minutes to the update of the climate. Price seems to be kind of pausing around this 560 area. We see that it made 2 attempts right here to keep going higher, both of them being rejected. So there's definitely something stopping it in this area here. All right. Let's see what we got here. Less than a minute to go to the update of the climate. I'm already going to be a little bit, ready here with it at 39.50 because I'm anticipating this change to happen in this area. And that's not, chasing price or anything. That's just anticipating a change, which should be coming up any second now. We should have it at 6:45 my time, 9:45 Eastern. We should have an update to the climate, an update to the moving average. Since the price has, kind of run upwards, we should see an update, and that climate, there it is. Okay, so it is a valid now entry to have our entry here at 39.50. Now what we need to adjust for it is the following. We need to first, do the math of, what is it that we need to have. So 39.50 minus, we're at 11.15, so 514, so 14.25. So we're looking at 25.25. So that's 101 ticks. So we need to adjust our custom setup here. So our stop loss is at 103. 103. Profit is also going to be at 103. And this one is going to be, let's just call it, 206, just double to have it set. All right, so basically our stop is at 14 even, and just want to make sure that 14 even is not inside a UFO, and it looks like it is down here. So 14 even is within this UFO here, so we're going to have to adjust our stop, even though price is running up without us here. As you see, it came about 7 points away, about 6.5 points away, and is now already moving upward. 14 is not going to work. It has to be, below that. Has to be at 1075, and 1075 is within this UFO here. And at that point, this trade just becomes an overly risky trade for a 1-to-1. So we're going to go ahead and cancel this one altogether. So with that new update to the climate, it ended up canceling our trade because we are going to be, instead of having a safety target, we're going to have a wishful target. So this 50-minute canceled. All right. Anything over a certain amount of ticks, you should just consider as a no-go, because not everybody should be shooting for a safety target that's going to be acting almost as a T2, right? That's just not the right way we should go about this. So let's go ahead and everything's basically 1.5 to 2 ATRs away. Crude oil is 1.5 away. Gold did not come close to it, still unconfirmed. And then the euro is in an overextended up climate. It's close by to the moving average, but it's just not a high probability setup, nor are there any UFOs near its moving average. So a little slower session than the usual. We did have 2 trades. They were full stops. The gold you may have gotten a little bit earlier if you were actively managing it. If the climate changes and you're in a trade, you are allowed to go ahead and cancel that trade out. That's not that's something that's part of our rules. But as of right now, as I'm saying, we do have plenty of confirmations, just nothing nearby, because we're seeing a massive movement to the upside. The Dow flying through that round 30,000 number, which right now the moving average is actually right on it. As you see, 30,001. So quite the rally to the upside on these, but again, too fast, too soon. Also shown by the fact that it's more than twice the standard deviation of the double standard. So the 2 standard deviation is 1.3. We're currently at essentially 4 standard deviations at 2.64, 2.7, 2.8. Oh my God. Yes. So, we didn't have a setup to go to the upside with this. Obviously, if we did, we'd be just managing this trade, moving the stops right below the UFOs. That was not the case today. That has happened before, where we just see a trade just take off, and it's almost like every second you look, there's a new UFO, and you move your stop. That was not the case today, and that's okay. The ES, very similar situation. The euro is the same. It's coming fairly close to the moving average, but the key factor here, that's why this was added. As you see, currently it's at 1.65 of its 2 standard deviations, and the 2 standard deviation is at 0.79. So again, it's also double its 2 standard deviations. So that automatically disqualifies a trade. That this has been running for too long. Therefore, it's not a high probability trade, even though it's currently on the 9th 50-minute increment out of typically 9. All right. Well, I hate to say this, but there's, unless there's any questions or any comments, we can just cut this session short, um, because as of right now, you know, all the climates are too far from us to execute on, and we just have to kind of keep tracking it, keep looking at it. Uh, it's nothing unheard of, right? You could essentially, if you were trading this live at home, you could say, okay, well, I'll come back in 15 minutes. I don't have to just sit and stare at the computer for 15 minutes. I'll, walk around, or, do a couple of push-ups, maybe some pull-ups and so on, to be able to kind of center, refocus, and then, get started and get going. All right. Not seeing any questions. So everybody, thank you for watching this live with me. If you're watching this recorded, thank you for spending the time watching this recorded. If you have any questions, please, by all means, feel free to send me an email, um, or go ahead and go to the tradewithufos.com/Boyan. That's the, and I'm just going to type it up here. So it's tradewithufos.com/Boyan. And that'll take you to the site where my information is, as well as any questions you may have that you can ask, and then get responses both from myself, fellow instructors, or other folks who are able to answer that same question. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye.